Hi guys, it's Larry with the Ethical Atheist, and today I'm super pissed off because I've been trying to get my setup going and get everything connected in the way that it's supposed to be, and I've recorded this exact same episode 8 fucking times, and my audio keeps coming unsynced, and I have no way to fix it, and I'm 99.9% sure that when I get done recording this bit, I'm gonna have to throw it in the garbage with all of the rest of the audio that I've tried to do today, but given that, the topic of the day is terrorism. And the definition of terrorism is using violence, or the threat of violence, to push a religion, political ideology, or other agenda. Like the violence that I want to commit against whoever designed this stupid computer so that they will follow my ideology of having technology that works. Oh, shouldn't make jokes about terrorism. So, I wanted to talk a little bit today about the list that came out from the White House official website that has 78 terror attacks that have purportedly been unreported or underreported. So I wanted to take a little bit of time and look at just a surface look at the list and get an idea of what's going on there. So, starting right at the top here, it references an attack in Melbourne, Australia, and yes, the man there, Abdul Numan Haider, I hope I pronounced that right, was confirmed to be a radicalized man who attacked with the explicit purpose of, attacking a non-Muslim. Martin Couture Rouleau, similar story. He attempted to kill 2 soldiers, Canadian soldiers, with his vehicle. And a lot of these are like that. But there are several of them in here that were both widely reported and famous, and or not terrorism. So, the attack referenced here in New York City in 2014, 2 police officers were wounded in a knife attack, and it just says under attacker, it says U.S. person, so the person here wasn't even identified in this report, and I think it's a bit of a stretch to call that person a terrorist without even naming them. This one in Saudi Arabia, a Danish citizen was wounded in a shooting, and they were confirmed ISIL members. I saw they made mention in here of they did mention the attack in Tunisia that killed a bunch of tourists in the Bardo Museum, which was underreported in the interest of fairness. And a lot of terrorism attacks that happen in the Middle East or in Africa do go unreported in America or underreported because we live in a bubble and we don't care about people that aren't us. But one of these examples that really upset me was the Garland, Texas, USA, right here, May 2015, I'm sorry. And this was famously the Draw Muhammad event, where they invited people in the public and artists to come have a public event where they would draw Muhammad, which is of course forbidden in the religion of Islam, and two somebodies approached the event with guns with the intention of committing mass shooting, and they were stopped, fortunately. But this was covered non-stop in the news for like 6 weeks after it happened. So for it to even be on this list shows sort of the dishonest intentions here. But, there was another one in here. That I remember being reported. I think it was this one from California, where 4 people were attacked by a person with a knife on a college campus. I vaguely remember hearing about this, but, and I don't think that this was confirmed as an act of terrorism. And a lot of these you'll see attacker unidentified, attacker 2 unnamed persons. A lot of them do have people named, or they have just unidentified ISIS operative. But the plurality of these are probably real. The plurality of these are probably real terrorist attacks that did happen. But the intention of this list is to make it seem as though the media is purposefully not reporting terror attacks all over the world for some sort of agenda. And I think that that's just not true. I think that attacks that happen on US soil are covered ad nauseum. We have seen example after example of this. But yes, I do think that when stuff happens outside of the states, so we hear Brussels, Kuwait, Malmo, places like those, Americans don't care about those. Or they don't get the ratings and the views that the media wants, and so they get covered less. I don't think it's necessarily symptomatic of a nefarious intention. But, alright, so, is terrorism a problem in the world? Yes. Absolutely 100% yes. There is a widespread problem of extreme ideologies. And yes, it is disproportionately common in Islamic nations. But I do want to stress that even though these are real problems and they do need to be addressed somehow, some way, we can't let ourselves get swept up in the hysteria of the moment and let ourselves just uninformed and anxious and angry run out into the world. Because what this leads to is it leads to a backlash event where we are hostile to people who didn't do anything wrong. So, and there are tons of examples of people in the United States who are the victims of hate crimes because they're Muslim, because they were trying to escape from countries where the problematic versions of Islam are common. And they come here, and they want to live decent, peaceful lives, and then they get shit on the entire time that they're here because they're Muslim. Because we're afraid of Islamic terrorism. But our fear is part of what creates terrorism and allows it to thrive. So part of the solution is to not be afraid. We have to stand up to terrorism, and we have to make sure that it doesn't spread any farther than it already has, but we also need to caution ourselves so that we don't hurt people who are not at fault in this situation. So, thank you very much for watching, and as always, may Darwin be with you.